Fáilte Radio Public Talk Social League, Dullamac ó Balliach Lia. Welcome to Socialist Republican Radio, going out from Dublin. First up on this week's show, we have a new song, Martyrs of the Past, by the trio Zulu, Versi and Michelle Feeney, from their album, Ballybrack the Album. We think our listeners are going to like it.
In the last hour, the news has filtered through to this community that Bobby Sands has died after 66 days of hunger strike. And in scenes reminiscent of the early days of internment, bin lids have been bashed, car horns have been sounded to alert this community to the fact that Bobby Sands has died.
Well, it's time to face the enemy and embrace the consequence. From the words of Bobby Sands, watch a nation gain its strength. We pray with both hands with a message heaven sent. Soldiers of the storm, please lead the resistance. Shoulder to shoulder, breathe a biblical existence. The war is not over, I hope every Catholic listening. The Republic will be free through Republican persistence. Irish rebels will go the fucking distance on every level. This vision has significance and stands with God now. His opinion's still significant. Brilliant the man was, draw wisdom to the cause. 81 is still raw for provisionals and dissidents. On the family they lost through political decisions. Prisoners of war died in the H-block prison. My Lord on the cross, who speaks of freedom and religion. He who walks amongst the living, won't you raise the forgiven? We stand for you, can't you hear your people singing? All along the wall, fighting, standing tall, we will gather strong and all. Era's only son. He was a poet, a revolutionary. In the words of Christy Moore, the people's MP, a real hero, no Marvel or DC. I'm not no politician, don't need to be PC. But ding dong, the witch is dead, you can rest assured. He'd still be here if it wasn't for who. And it wasn't just him, 9 men devoted their life. They died for what they believed during the hunger strike. Many more were killed during the troubles. It's hard for me to even talk about the struggle, but some won't talk about it at all. They forget where they're from, don't know any rebel songs. Bobby Sands, March 9th, 1954. He was born a soldier leading the war. Died 5th of May, 1981. R.I.P. Bobby Sands, Ireland's only son. All along the wall, fighting, standing tall, we will gather strong and all. Era's only son. The true son of Vera would sail the Irish seas. Just before he goes to war, he prays down on bone knees. In the name of the Father, please set your people free. In green, white and gold armour, with an army that believes we'll be a nation once again. Beneath our own sword and shield. Now bring back the thunder, let the lightning be seen. Martyrs of the past, May 1916. Out in Gabra, we believe the same dream. Unified at 32, by any fucking means. Hear her warriors scream. All across the country, we live to take lives. We won't forget Bloody Sunday. Some of the sun, we'll feed every Sunday. By the Brotherhood's guns, united we stand. Rest in peace, Patrick Pierce, the proclamation still stands. Shakid Allah, up the rap, Bobby Sands. Gone but not forgotten, the pride of every Irishman. All along the wall, fighting, standing tall, we will gather strong and all. Era's only son.
The Irish Social Republican Radio wants to commend this trio of young artists for an inspirational approach to our revolutionary history with a song that is sure to speak to the youth of today in a very, very modern way. Moshav Galera. Next on this week's programme, Socialist Republican News. Irish Socialist Republican Radio welcomes the release of Derry Republican Tony Taylor, and we wish him and his family a very happy Christmas, their first Christmas together in a long time. We also demand an immediate end to internment in Ireland and for all internees to be released. We demand the freedom for Neil the Head, and we also take this opportunity to extend our solidarity to Republican prisoners and wish them a very happy Christmas. Irish Social Republicans have watched with great interest as the working class uprising have swept across Paris and France. Our comrades in the Maoist Communist Party of France have been on the streets fighting and organising alongside the masses. It has been inspiring to see the working class activists physically confront and remove far-right and fascist infiltrators from the demonstrations. We at Irish Socialist Republican Radio believe that Ireland can learn an awful lot from what has been dubbed the Yellow Vest protests, and we extend our solidarity to the working class resistance in France. Saturday, December 8th, saw Irish Socialist Republicans gather at the grave of Liam Mellows to honour the four martyrs 96 years after their execution by the forces of counter-revolution. This year's main oration was delivered by the veteran Socialist Republican Sean Doyle, who defiantly stated that electoralism is the birthplace of delusion and activism is the birthplace of revolution. This is a sentiment we at Socialist Republican Radio agree with, and particularly in terms of the partitionist institutions. And it reminds us of that important quote from Liam Mellows, that it is a fallacy to believe that any kind of republic can be won through the shackled free state. You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. Now, recently Socialist Republican Radio spoke to our comrades Lassie Yarrick in Belfast about the work they have been doing with local residents on housing issues. The campaign developed by Lassie Yarrick and local residents has forced the powers that be to act, and we spoke to Paul Torbert about the campaign and a recent victory for residents in Carrigart Flats.
Well, I just wanted to start with a thank you to Socialist Republican Radio for inviting me here to speak about the recent campaign in Carrigart Flats in recent Belfast, and of course what culminated in a victory for local people in the Flats. Lassie Yarrick itself was formed there about 18 to 24 months ago from a group of local political and community activists. As soon as it was formed, we set about acting on local issues. Principal among those was the housing issue. We'd moderate the big success with one or two small local problems and so on, but very quickly different people were coming to us with different issues, and there was a number of different residents approached us about issues that they were having in the Flats complex in Carrigart Avenue there in Lenadine, West Belfast. There were a lot of issues raised about antisocial behaviour, fly tipping and so on, but principal among the issues that were being raised was about the heating conditions inside the flat, centred around their Economy 7 heating system and the resultant damp and mould inside and lack of insulation and so on. We thought the best approach when speaking to residents was to actually conduct a survey across the flats complex. So we actually knocked all 72 doors multiple times, conducting that survey, and spoke to as many residents as we could, and we got a huge response off the back of it. In the survey, I think it was 83% of respondents said that they were very unhappy with the actual heating system, or they felt that they had no proper heating system inside the flats. When we were being invited in to look inside and seeing the actual damp and mould issue, we made a decision basically to act, to respond to it and see what we could do in terms of upgrading their heating systems to something more suitable to their needs, particularly gas heating. So we began organising residents basically. We were knocking doors almost day and daily, week in, week out, conducting the survey and so on, and just raising these particular issues and seeing where we could direct the campaign. It culminated in a public meeting that was organised there, I think it was about mid-September of this year, 2018. There were dozens of residents in attendance. We invited the housing executive as well, who are responsible for the maintenance of the flats. We provided them with 3 specific dates to attend, spoke to them on the phone, emails and so on, and they point blank refused. We got a no, a simple no from them that they wouldn't be attending. Off the back of that, we decided to up the campaign. We started knocking doors again, and this is all over a 10-month period up until just the last few days there. We started knocking doors again, and we were very successful in getting residents to fill in formal complaint forms, which would have been addressed thereafter to Clark Bailey, who's the chief executive of the housing executive. Out of the 72 flats in the complex, I think at least 52 of them are housing executive, and we got a total of 34 residents responding with formal complaint forms, and that sort of gives you an indication or a general picture of how unhappy people were with the heating systems within the flats. We went ahead and organised another public meeting to sort of collate all the formal complaint forms and so on, and direct the campaign then to Clark Bailey at the housing executive with those forms. On the day that meeting was due to happen, the housing executive were invited again, but on that very day we received notification from a resident in the flats who had contacted us as soon as he received notification through the door that the campaign had won, had been victorious, and a commitment was given that in February of 2019, next year, they would start the installation of modern Phoenix gas heating systems within the flats. So obviously we were elated. The residents we were speaking to on the doorstep thereafter, and as we'll leave later again thereafter updating them, they were elated. There were some emotional conversations had, and I'm very confident in saying that the extreme majority of residents in the flats are very, very happy with the outcome. So big victory for them, big victory for us as well. But out of all that, I mean, I think the important thing is that there's a lesson there for all of us, that the more people that come together to fight these small to medium to large local issues, the more people that come together, the greater the possibilities. So get organised.
Thanks, Paul, and well done to the residents of Nasser Yarrick. This campaign is an example of how the working class, when they get organised, are more than capable of finding a solution to any issues that they may face. Moshav. December has traditionally been Prisoner Month in Ireland, a time for doing a little bit more for Irish Republican prisoners of war and their families. The Independent Anti-Internment Group of Ireland do excellent work throughout the year to support and highlight the cases of political prisoners, and they have organised a candlelit vigil this Friday, December 14th, for political prisoners. The vigil takes place at 6 p.m. at the GPO, and Socialist Republican Radio will be supporting this event and encourage all others to do likewise. That's 6 p.m. at the GPO this Friday, 14th of December, for a vigil for political prisoners. I'm like to finish this week's show by dedicating this song to all Irish Republican prisoners of war. This is A Prisoner's Christmas by Charlie and the Boys. Bear Bua.
Motorway just the other night, some lights were flickering out to my right, my little son sitting by my side. As for those fairy lights for Christmas time, those are not lights for a Christmas tree. That's dark location you'll grow to see. That Christmas cheer does not mean a thing in McGilligan, Armagh, or a H-Block wing. Tis a time for festivity, for party games and for families, but many homes are sad tonight. They whisper someone's name by the candlelight. Those are not lights for a Christmas tree. That's dark location you'll grow to see. That Christmas cheer does not mean a thing in McGilligan, Armagh, or a H-Block wing. are not lying.